Tell me about a challenge or a conflict you experienced at work. How did you handle it? So this is a good interview question. It's also a good one for a video, I think, because it is a question you can get like really, really wrong. Like if you say the wrong thing here, it is going to sound bad. On the flip side, if you navigate this well and you give a solid answer, it's going to show that you're mature, it's going to show that you're a good communicator, and it's going to show you have strong conflict resolution skills and that you're a good teammate. Today, I'm going to show you how to do the second one, not the first one, the second one. Hi, this is Ben with Ben Talks Talent, and today we're going to talk about a really important interview question. So tell me about a challenge or a conflict you experienced at work, and then how did you handle it? I want to start with the why, because I feel like the why is really important. Whenever you're asked a question, you want to consider your answer, but it's also important to think about, well, why would they ask that? What about their situation or about the role or about the organization makes it important to get this information? And I think this is one of the ones where you certainly want to think about it. So when I think about why would this be asked, maybe they've had a member of the team previously who was toxic, right? Who disrupted team chemistry. Or maybe they value open and honest debate, but the ability to have a healthy conflict resolution if things get a little intense. So I think that's probably why it gets asked, right? So then you got to think about that as you start to answer the interview question. So what are they looking for? I think that most people, when they ask this interview question, they're looking for you to show that you are willing to talk about the situation. You are open, you are honest, and you're willing to talk about you handled the situation head on with maturity, and you made sincere attempts at a resolution. Generally speaking, that's it. They don't want you to give a fake answer like, oh, I never have conflict because I'm the nicest person in the history of the world. Nobody's looking for that. People have conflict, people butt heads in the work, that's okay. It's okay if you handle it like an adult and you make a sincere effort to fix the situation. And that's what they're looking for here. So while you're answering it, I think there's a few things that are important. It is so important to stay calm and measured. I think it's good to have a real example here, but it's not good if you start remembering it and the emotions get you kind of caught up and you get swept away in telling the story and you start to get a little bit heated. You want to tell it cool, calm, and collected. This was a situation that happened, but you were 100% unequivocally over it because you handled it like an adult. So it's important to remember to be very steady as you're answering this question. I want to talk about pie, a pie chart. So when you're answering this interview question, I think it's really important that 60 to 70% of the time you spend talking is you talking about the resolution, right? So 30% talking about here was the issue, but you're spending a lot more time talking about how you handled it. You identified it was an issue. You took this person aside privately. You had an open, honest conversation about how their actions impacted you and what you think the benefit might be if there was a modification to their behavior. You want to spend 70% of the time talking about that, 30% of the time talking about the issue. Because if you think about it, if you spend like 80% of the time talking about the issue and how bad it was, I think that shows kind of the way you approach it. Your focus is on the negative, not the positive. And your focus should always be in the positive when you're interviewing. You're not running from something, you're running to something. You're not focused on the conflict, you're focused on the solution. And that needs to be the same for this interview question. So the last thing I want to talk about just real quick is the recap, right? So remember, pick a relevant example. Just like with any interview question, I think it's really important to pick something that they can relate to, is relevant to them, and it matters to them. Then emphasize the communication. I think it's really important when you're telling the story to talk about how you communicated in a mature, effective, adult manner. Discuss the steps clearly. Whenever you're telling a story in an interview, I think it's really important that people don't get lost in the weeds and go, wait, what happened in this terrible story you just told us? So make sure it's clear, concise, and then be honest. Again, you want to be honest with it. Don't fabricate something, that often is way more transparent than you might think. And then the last thing here, emphasize results. Talk about how there was resolution, talk about the benefit moving forward, and spend the vast majority of your time answering this interview question talking about the solution and a positive outcome. So there you have it. It's not an overly challenging one if you approach it the right way. But again, if you approach this one the wrong way and give a bad example that shows you were just bad and tough situations, that is going to reflect really poorly on you, because the odds are, if they are asking a question like this, they really do value communication and being a good teammate. If you were seeing this on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. I drop about 3 or 4 of these a week on YouTube. And if you're seeing this on LinkedIn, like, comment below. If you have any questions, maybe questions you'd like me to answer, please feel free to drop them in the comments or send me a message. And also head over to YouTube, because I do about 3 of these videos a week on LinkedIn, but I do about 4 of them on YouTube. So go there, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Good luck in your next interview. You've got this.